Hello, everyone, on today's IRS tax update. We are just 3 weeks away from the start of the next tax season, so we will recap the latest as we prepare for another tax season, including the steps you want to take before filing your taxes, as well as the most common notices taxpayers can expect to receive this year from the IRS while experiencing delays. Meanwhile, for those of you still waiting for last year's tax refunds, we will recap the latest numbers on the remaining backlog of unprocessed tax returns and whether the new tax season will play a role in even further delays. Now, as of this recording, the IRS has not officially announced the start date of the upcoming tax season, though it is expected to occur during the week of January 22nd. Now, there are some key steps you will want to take before filing your taxes to help possibly avoid processing and refund delays, starting off with ensuring you have all W-2 and 1099 forms before filing your taxes. One consistent problem we see every year is those who rush to file their taxes as soon as the tax filing period opens, only to realize after filing that they forgot to include a W-2 or 1099 when filing. Oftentimes, a taxpayer may have worked at a job for a very short period of time, even just one day, and completely forgot they were due to receive a W-2. What will end up happening at that point is tax processing can become delayed with the refund frozen, and the taxpayer facing to file an amended tax return, which can cause possibly up to a year delay. The reason a taxpayer will experience delays is the IRS receives copies of all W-2 and 1099 forms from employers, former employers, and businesses that they use to match what you are reporting accuracy, which is especially important for those filing for certain tax credits that have income requirements. All W-2 and 1099 forms are supposed to be mailed out by January 31st. For those of you who have not received it by February 15th, do notify the IRS. The second step you will want to take if you have not done so already is create an account on the IRS website. Now, by creating an account, you will be able to access your tax transcripts, which oftentimes will give you more information than just checking the "Where's my refund" status on the IRS website. There are also other options available by having an IRS account, which include receiving some notices digitally instead of just waiting for them in the mail, as well as making payments and payment arrangements for those who end up owing the IRS. The process is relatively simple to create an account and make sure to have a valid photo ID available, which will be required as the IRS does now use ID.me to verify the taxpayer's identity while completing this process. For those of you who have moved in the past year, please make sure to update your address with the IRS using Form 8822, even if you are using your updated address when filing your taxes. Every year, we see tens of thousands of taxpayers experience delays because either tax refund checks or IRS notices were sent to an old address. By updating your address, you can potentially avoid months of delays. Also, it is important if you are using the same online tax filer as the year before that you go into the settings and update your address before beginning your taxes. Another possible step you will want to consider is changing the platform you use to file your taxes. Last year, we noticed a significant increase of viewers who were very unhappy with those major tax preparers like TurboTax and TaxSlayer and vowed to change the way they filed their taxes this year. Now, starting this year, the IRS is launching a new free e-file system for eligible taxpayers to use to file their federal taxes, and this system will also allow taxpayers in certain states to file their state income tax returns at the same time. It should be noted each year millions of taxpayers who are eligible to file their taxes for free instead pay to file with one of the major tax companies instead. Also, for those of you who had issues with tax processor TPG, sending your refunds back to the IRS, it should be mentioned TPG has no involvement with the new IRS system, which could avoid another issue for many. More information on the new free IRS system can be found on their website. Aside from TPG returning refunds back to the IRS, it also was reported by viewers that certain non-traditional banks, such as Chime and Green Dot, were sending their tax refunds back to the IRS so that they could be sent out as a paper check instead. Unfortunately, this is a problem that has gone on for many years and has even gotten the attention of news networks highlighting the issues taxpayers experience while trying to deal with these non-traditional banking institutions. We strongly recommend you use a checking account or savings account at a traditional bank or credit union to receive that tax refund, as it substantially decreases the chances of a tax refund being sent back to the IRS. If you are claiming the Earned Income Tax Credit or Child Tax Credit this year, make sure to have all supporting documentation available in regards to your dependent, as we have seen an increase of audits over the last 2 years in particular, for those attempting to claim those credits. By having the most commonly requested documents available now, such as birth certificates and proof of residency for the dependents in question, it will allow you to respond quicker when the IRS sends you a notice requesting documentation. One of the most common notices taxpayers can expect to receive this year is the 5071C notice, which is the request for identify verification. Now you must verify your identity before the processing of your tax return can continue, so it is very important you complete this step. Now, if you completed ID verification in previous years and once again received this request, go ahead and reconfirm your identity. The need for ID verification has been the cause of the delay for many of our viewers, especially in the last 2 years. So we are looking at a substantial number of people being impacted by this problem. Most ID verifications can be completed online, so make sure to have a valid photo ID as well as a copy of your tax return available. Completing the actual ID verification is the first step, but you will be asked to provide information listed on your 1040 tax return in order to complete the second step. The second commonly received notice is the CP75 notice, which is received in particular by those who are claiming certain tax credits like the Earned Income Tax Credit and Child Tax Credit. If you receive this notice, it means the IRS is holding those credits from your tax refund until they receive documentation requested in the notice pertaining to your dependent. Now, the letter will specify what exactly is being requested, and oftentimes it is either a birth certificate, proving your relationship with the dependent, or proof of residency, confirming the dependent is living with you, which is often in the form of school documentation, with the appropriate address being listed. Now, as we focus on the upcoming tax season, we are still monitoring the ongoing situation for those who are still waiting on tax refunds from last year and even the year before. As of the last update, the IRS still is showing 686,000 unprocessed tax returns remaining, with the majority of those e-file and returns requiring special processing, with 86,000 being unprocessed paper returns. Back in September, that total backlog stood at over 1 million, so we have definitely seen some progress. Unprocessed amended returns have recently saw an increase to now 884,000, which is substantially high as we enter into the next tax season, which means we could see processing times longer than the 6 to 7 months we are currently see. Unprocessed employer returns are down to around 40,000, with amended employer returns sitting at over 1 million. For those who are still waiting while work will continue on your tax returns, we can expect to see a significant amount of tax returns submitted this year get processed with refunds issued before yours is completed. The IRS does state they process tax returns in the order in which they are received, but that is not always the case, as we have seen in the past. We have received an influx of questions from viewers who have never checked their tax transcripts, and we continue to advise those to check their transcripts to identify any potential audits and refund freezes. Let us know in the comment section below about your ongoing tax issue. In the meantime, we will keep monitoring the situation for further developments, so make sure to click on the thumbs up and subscribe button below for future updates on this channel, and thanks for watching.